How's it going, guys? We've got some pretty interesting news from Jagex today. I'm sure some of you would have already known and probably already seen the post, or whether you've heard it from other people as well. This is a big deal. This is a big announcement, and this is something that we knew was going to happen, but there's been confirmation now, and it's really interesting. So we've got a post here from Jagex saying game integrity, real world trading. Basically, what's going on in this post is they're talking about the changes and eventually the removal of the duel arena. I will go through this and read it to you in just a second, but also they're talking about real world trade as a whole and how they plan on tackling it. So we're going to go through this, have a read through, and then we'll talk about it, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinion on it, and also we'll discuss exactly what it means, basically. So they said, hello escapers, work to improve the integrity of our beloved game never stops. We want you to have fun and play competitively in an environment that's fair and governed by mutual respect among players. As part of these efforts, additional measures to counter real world trading will be introduced in the coming months. Gold real world trading. Gold purchased through real world trade is a problem in any online game featuring a tradable currency. For the last 20 years, our anti-cheating team has done much to tackle real world trade sellers both in and out of the game. However, it's not just the sellers that have an impact on game integrity. Buyers fuel demand, and higher demand means more sellers, more bots to remove, and more nefarious activity. Thanks to a growing team and improved tools, we're now in a position where, as well as tackling sellers, we can also begin to clamp down on buyers. In the next few hours, we'll be sending out messages to players we've identified as engaging in real-world trade. So for anyone who has actually been identified as buying or selling or basically anything whatsoever, they will be getting a message with a warning. For anyone who has been involved, we want to be clear. This is your one and only warning. Should any further real-world trade activity be detected, accounts face possible bans and wealth removal. Okay, this is something I'll come back to because I do have a few thoughts on this, but we'll continue on first and then we'll come back to this. Duel Arena real-world trade. The Duel Arena has been a flashpoint for this toxic behavior. In fact, 38% of all real-world trade bans, accounting for thousands of bans per month, stem from there. We've heard your feedback and want to make definitive changes that keep the game fun for everyone. We're looking in the long term to phase the Duel Arena out of RuneScape entirely, but before that we'll be introducing some short-term measures to tide us over until our development teams can deliver a major update that fully replaces the Duel Arena next year. The first step will be the implementation of a staking cap this November. This will limit stake values to no more than 50 million GP per duel. Our long-term solution, scheduled for early 2022, will replace the Duel Arena with a brand new experience that will be part of the ongoing Elder God Wars storyline. We'll share more information of this when we can. To the vast majority of you who are playing the game as intended, put simply, thank you for being you. We won't stop looking for more ways to maintain the integrity of the game you love. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff in here, and of course, this is great. This is amazing to see, and it's absolutely something that the game needed, and it's something I mentioned even in my last video where I do staking. I'm so glad they're doing this. I'm so glad they're taking the Duel Arena out of the game. I've been talking about it for ages, and even though I do make videos on it now and then, it's not something that I actually care about. If they remove it, it's just so good for the game. There's literally nothing that this does for the game in a positive way. So removing it is absolutely spot on. So some of the key points to look at in this is saying that in the next few hours, we'll be sending out messages to players we've identified as engaging in real-world trade. So this was actually put up, I think, a few hours ago anyway. So those messages may have already been out. So if you do get one of those messages, then I would assume you should take this, you should take it seriously. They've said this is your one and only warning, and that's good. I hope they stick to that. However, they've also said, should any further real-world trading activity be detected, accounts face possible bans and wealth removal. I'm assuming this means for anyone at all at this point, not just the people who have been warned. I assume it just means anyone in the future. This is your warning. You don't get another warning. As soon as it happens, then you can be banned or you can have the wealth removed. That being said, I don't think that it should just be a wealth removal. If you real world trade, you should get a ban and you should have the wealth removed. It should be both. I don't see why it's a possible ban. It should just be a permanent ban, I would say, in my opinion. With that being said, they don't say whether this would be a temporary ban or not. And of course, there's been things in the past where Jagex have temporarily banned someone who has been involved in things like bug abuse. With the ED3 bug abuse, for example, all of their wealth that they gained from that was left on the account. They could just go through, they could sell all that sort of stuff, and they had no issues. That 2-week ban that they got was absolutely worth the thing that they did, in their opinion. And the same goes for people who did bug abuse with things like Treasure Hunter and stuff. By the end of their 2-week ban, they came back, they had all of the oddments, all of the experience. So hopefully with this, it's just a permanent ban and the wealth gets removed from the game. That would be ideal. That was what we would hope to see. That being said, they do have 38% of all real world trader bans coming from the Duel Arena, so that means there is a hell of a lot of bans that they are fishing out already, and I'd be curious to know whether these were permanent bans or not. I suppose it depends on how big of an issue they were causing, maybe, or whether it was repeat offenders, but we'll have to sort of see what happens with that. The next thing I wanted to say is the first step will be implementation of a staking cap this November, which is very soon. Of course, it is next month. I assume it's next month because of development time and stuff, but it says this will limit stake values to no more than 50 million GP per duel. This is something that when I first read it, I actually thought, why 50 mil? Why actually have it that high anyway? Like 50 mil is not that high. When you consider the fact that they are removing all of the big stakes like 1 bill, 5 bill, 10 bill, whatever it goes up to, like 50 bill, it goes up ridiculously high. They're removing all of the big ones, and those are the ones that sort of cater to real world trading and the big gambling addicts, right? However, there's still plenty of people that are going to get impacted by the gambling addiction at 50 mil. They did just start. But then I've also talked to some people and they've mentioned about the fact that addiction isn't something that you can just sort of cut out immediately. You can't just do that. So maybe that's something they've considered as well. I'm not too sure, but this is definitely a step in the right direction. I'm sure there'll still be plenty of people doing 50 mil stakes constantly non-stop as long as they can until this gets removed, but we'll just have to see what happens. I assume a lot of the stuff is going to change in the terms of how many people are at the Duel Arena. We'll just have to see with that as well, but having a 50 mil cap on duels is definitely a step in the right direction. And they've said our long-term solution scheduled for early 2022 will replace the Duel Arena with a brand new experience. This says that early next year we're basically going to have the Duel Arena replaced with something else. This is a lot sooner than we expected. So the people who were aware that this was changing, because I mentioned it in my last staking video, I mentioned that it was getting removed, saying I was glad about it and stuff, and people saying, no, that's only old school RuneScape. And I had to say, no, it's not. RuneScape 3 are doing the exact same thing. A JMod confirmed it and read it, and it was confirmed that the RuneScape 3 was doing it as well. But this is a lot earlier than we expected. We expected this to be way longer. So the fact that it's early next year, they're going to have to obviously change a lot in the game to do this, remove it, make it into something that's worthwhile adding to the game. Adding it to the Elder God War storyline sounds absolutely brilliant, and I can't wait to see what happens with that. So I know there's a lot in this, and basically my overall opinion is Jagex are doing a great job here. This is great to hear, and I'm super happy that they've managed to put this out here so everybody can see. The fact that they are cracking down on real world trading this much as well is going to be so good for the game in the future. Like they've said, it's for the integrity of the game, and it's just so good to see that they're going to be talking about bans and wealth removal, and they're going to be sticking through with it. I hope they are going to be sticking with it. I hope they do exactly what they say, and I hope that it doesn't get delayed and get pushed back, all this sort of stuff, and I hope that things like bans and stuff do get followed up on and the wealth does get removed, and I hope it doesn't just end up being temporary bans, a slap on the wrist, and then they basically just make an alt account and transfer the stuff off and get another slap on the wrist. It just wouldn't be any worth doing unless they just permanently ban straight away. This is my opinion, of course. What do you guys think in the comments down below? So happy to see the Duel Arena on its way out. Like, it's just going to be so good for the game and so many people that are addicted to gambling. I am concerned that there is going to be other ways of gambling pop up in the game. I'm sure that this will happen, whether it happens in the game or off the game on websites and stuff. I think Jagex can actually handle stuff off of the game on websites and they can take it down, but that probably takes some time as well. What do you guys think? Are we going to be seeing lots of other ways in the game of gambling? Because I'm sure it won't go away fully. I'm sure this is going to be a battle that they're constantly sort of working on, but I hope that they can figure out ways around that too. Anyway, guys, I wanted to get my opinion out to you, get the conversation going in the comments. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you're happy that Duel Arena is going, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. I always give sort of my thoughts and stuff on the news and information like this when it does come out, when I get the chance to do so. But other than that, guys, I will see you all in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.